All right, there we go. And we're back. Yeah, I was thinking for this session, I'm gonna continue extending the editor a little bit. And now I want to focus on the scene editor and add a way to add custom entities. And the reason for that is because I'm gonna add a bunch more types of monsters and stuff like that. So I thought that this would be a good addition to be able to add whatever entities you need instead of hard coding them. So yeah, it would be a cool addition to have. And so the idea is that you would have a list of custom entities, and the entity would have a bunch of properties on it. So you would have like a name, icon to sort of display the entity in the editor, and a size to know how large the entity is, so you can place it properly, and then also you can add custom properties to the entity. So this would be properties that you would use like in game, and perhaps for different sort of components and stuff like that. Maybe we can do some component stuff later in the system, but I think first I'm just gonna make this custom entity be able to have properties that you can set so that the in-game can then read those properties and transform them into proper components and everything. Because then you get these super sort of specialized entities that you want to have for your game, basically. So each like monster will have, you can set whatever properties you need. I mean, it's probably not going to be that much variation. I'm not really sure, but so actually maybe property editor is like more of a nice to have, maybe not really needed for the start, but name, icon, and size is pretty good. Also, there's gonna be special entities that is more built in, I guess, to the editor, which is, well, they are sort of built in right now. It's the entrance and exit entities. But if we get a property system going, we can actually make those custom entities, because let's say you have a reference to a scene, and then you have a button there like go to this scene. So then you can replace this whole functionality that we have right now for entrance and exits, that you can like transition between scenes, or you can select an exit and go to the target scene. And also you can have this property which is a scene, and the way you select it could be the same as we select it now. It's just that it's a property instead of a hard-coded sort of property of the hard-coded entrance and exit entities. So that would make all the entities very like being representable in this sort of custom entity system, and then we would have no sort of special entities going on, which means you can make whatever game you want with this system. Well, with the limits that of course it has otherwise, but it's not really, it's not going to be specific to this game. It's like one of the things that I want to have this editor for is to make more games with it, and this is one of the steps to be able to do that. So but yeah, So I guess we can start with just making a separate sort of editor for the custom entities. And that would be not really in the scene. I guess this would be its own editor. So this would be like the custom entity editor. Or I guess entity editor. I guess it could be called. Or entity type editor maybe even. So let's move this out here and we can have it there. Okay. So yeah, a new type of editor. So what we do then is first we want to make a new type of document, which is an entity type document. So let's go to our one of our documents here and copy over that. So let's start with the scene, I guess. It has a bunch of different stuff in it, but we can actually maybe we should just copy the whole thing. So let's do wait, how did you copy again? I always remember how to, or forget how to actually do these things. Yeah, it's MC for copy. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna copy it to whatever it is we want to do. Entity type. Types, entity type. Yeah. Oh yeah, it can't even do it. So let's just do source, documents, scene, and then source, documents, entity type. /r or -r for recursive. All right, so now we have entity type here, and let's call this entity type document, and yeah, we're gonna have, well, let's remove these things and this, and yeah, vector, let's just remove everything right now. Not sure why we have all this stuff. Allocator we need. So we have the non-persistent data, we also need the persistent data. So let's call this entity type persistent data and entity type non-persistent data. And we go over here, and this is entity type non-persistent data. Let's just remove everything in here. Okay. So non-persistent data. Yeah, let's just remove everything basically for now. Okay. And then we have this one. So same thing basically here. I'm just gonna remove, well, I know I'm gonna need some of this stuff. Yeah. JSON, I'm not sure. We're gonna have an array in here, so I'm not sure if we're gonna have. I think we're gonna have all entity types in one list. You can either, you can either have them in one list. Maybe it makes more sense to have them separately, like each entity is one document. I mean, I've kind of built the editor so that it's like it has one document for one editor, but this actually maybe makes more sense if you have several like one document for each entity type and not all entity types in one document, maybe. But that would mean you had an editor that is not bound to one document, it's bound to like, it has like a list of documents, so it's gonna be different. Although I guess the list is actually just the... Actually, the list is just in the assets manager, so the assets manager can just keep track of all the different documents. You don't need to have a list. Yeah, so I could just use the assets manager for that. That makes sense. We should use that. Okay. So we don't really need this right now. Let's just remove that for now. So we don't really need to have a list in that case. Maybe don't even need an allocator either then. So yeah, this is going to be a custom entity. So this is going to be one custom entity. And yeah, and then we have a name. So I'm gonna use string z, which, well, I guess it doesn't need to be string z. Yeah, it can just be this. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just gonna, I guess we should, so init will, I forgot about how this works. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that init always takes like I forgot when this is called, which is sort of one of the downsides by having this sort of generalized in this way that I have, because I have to remember how it works, and I've been doing some stuff, other coding stuff, so I've actually emptied this from my brain right now. Wait, yeah, I shouldn't remove this. This doesn't make sense. It's already removed, so let's see where. Yeah, the content. When is it? So we're calling document content init. Yeah, this is initializing. Yeah, here we're calling init, and we need the allocator as an input. So, but we're not gonna use it right now, at least. Maybe we will have it in the future. But so this will be entity type document, and then this is the custom entity. Let's actually not call it custom entity. Yeah, just entity type. Let's just do entity type, or yeah, custom entity there, and then what the hell? Don't do this. Okay, and we get allocated back here. Oh, my LSP stopped working for some reason. Okay, let's just do it like that. Okay, we're gonna have an ID as well, so actually this one is a UUID. Okay, do we have this now? Okay, there we go. So now the LSP works. So let's try this again. Entity type. No, it failed. Okay, so it cannot deal with that. So let's just do this. Custom entity type. There we go. Alright, so we're not having this, we don't have that. I guess what we have, well, ID, this one is, so this is, I think, just a number, so we don't care about that. We need to deallocate name. So, allocator free, name. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on with LSP. It doesn't really work. I have to fix that. So, yeah, name. Oh yeah, and then what is name? So I guess I would just set it undefined for now, or an empty slice like this. Like old diagnostics here. This one is not used. This one is not used, but we need clone self. No, clone.name is equal to allocator duplicate self.name catch unreachable. It's like constantly crashing. I think maybe it's better if I just delete or not have this LSP. I'm not sure what's happening. No step name check. Okay, so it needs a step name check now, I guess, maybe. And it cannot find sig, although sig is here. So okay, well, whatever. It's just a little bit annoying here. Okay, so that's the name. So we have ID, we got name. We also need to set ID to self ID. Okay, now let's go back to the to-do list here. So we're working on the data structure. So we have ID, name, so we need icon and size. Let's skip properties for now. We'll do icon, which is gonna be basically just well, it's gonna be sort of a like a pair. I mean, it's gonna be some sort of graphical component. So I guess it could be its own thing. Well, for now, it's gonna be a pair of a texture. So it's gonna be sort of a reference to a texture, which is just gonna be the file name, I think. And it's also gonna have the rectangle, sort of the source rectangle, that is gonna point to whatever rectangle you wanna have. Well, yeah, wait. It's gonna have to be like pixels. Yeah. So it's basically gonna be let's do like entity type icon. So let's make this. So first we're gonna have texture path, and then we're gonna have source rectangle or source rect, which is gonna be we could use raylib here, a raylib rectangle. Maybe that's the easiest right now. Type icon. And you can use that to get to like draw the actual. So you could have a draw function. And let's get the context. Right? And I guess we also need a position. So then this would be like draw texture. Yeah, something like this. So you would have the actual texture, and we can get the texture by getting it from context, request texture. So like this. And oh yeah, this needs to be self type icon. So self.texture path. Alright, so we're getting the texture from that, and then if we get it, then we use it here. And so the source rectangle, we can simply say self.source rectangle. Yeah. So the whole idea is that an icon is just a texture. It can be a sprite sheet, for example. And then the source rectangle is like which sprite do you want to use? Or yeah. So from the sprite sheet. So the colors are really messed up here. Okay. So we get the texture, we draw the thing, and where do we draw it? We have a destination. So let's see how we're doing that over here. So we have a destination, which is all this. Okay, and we have a position. So that's a grid position. Yeah, we could just say position times that. So we already have like the pixel position, and well, maybe we should get grid position in here. Tile size, we have from somewhere, time map. Right. Where do I like draw entities? Yeah. This is sort of the thing that I want to have, except it's going to be like not hard-coded, because all of these things are sort of hard-coded. Source rectangle, texture. but it's we probably just need to do this. Yeah, we get the entity position. Yeah, and we just need the scale. Yeah, we're doing this. And I guess we need the origin as well. Okay, let's remove this. Draw. Yeah, we have the scale. This context. I think context has scale in it. Yeah. And this is, and so the source we already have, it's gonna be source rect. The texture we have position. So I'm gonna do I mean, we could just accept a floating here, or we could just turn it into floating here to make it easier to use this function, I guess. It doesn't really matter. So now we have scale, we have position in there, we have the source. Okay, so let's do this for abbreviation here. Source rect. And now we can use source there as well. And then the origin uses source scale. Yeah, that's it. And we need Raylib, which we have. Okay, so now we should have everything we need. Okay, it should say position there to draw this. Right, so now that we have a structure which basically has a texture and a source rectangle, and you can define this sort of when, like, let's say we make the editor and it has a field for the icon, and you can have like a button called set icon or something, and you would first select the texture, and then you would select like somehow select like a rectangle out of that texture. I'm not exactly sure how to do that or how to go about that, but I mean, I can think of maybe you set the grid size and then just select based on that, like select one of the cells based on grid size. We could, in the future, we could use like a sprite sheet selection, like if we implement a sprite sheet editor and you define a bunch of sprites with potentially different grid sizes for each sprite and stuff like that, we could use that sort of structure to grab out a rectangle really quickly from that. But for now, I think we're just gonna make sort of a rudimentary selector from this. So yeah, I think the easiest is just probably just define the grid size and then select one of the cells instead of maybe like drawing a rectangle, like dragging a rectangle, which makes it like less precise also when it comes to like having the rectangle the same size as the actual entity. Maybe actually when we select the icon, we actually set the size first and then it uses that as a grid size, maybe something like that. Yeah. All right. So anyway, we have that, the icon. And so let's, guess we could implement like clone and initialize here as well. So let's do initialize. Well, let's just do texture path. And source rect. Yeah, okay, so let's utilize the 0.14 feature where you can have defaults. So we'll just do empty, and then this one will be entity, and so texture path is equal to or not undefined, but empty slice, and then source rect is equal to, so we'll do x, y with everything just 0. So that's the empty, and then you can use init to initialize with something else. There. Okay. And we probably should, I mean, we could duplicate here, maybe that's for the best, so we don't end up in some weird invalid memory state. So we'll do allocator dupe, and I guess since this is a path, maybe we should use string z here. Or maybe we don't need to actually. Let's do this for now and we'll see if we need to. And we need to cache unreachable here as well. Okay, so that's the init function. Now I want to have a clone or a deinit function, I mean. We need the allocator. Oh yeah, we need self. And so we're gonna do allocator free self texture path. And that's it. Now let's add a clone function with an allocator. Oh, this returns this. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy some stuff here, and then texture path is equal to this. Okay. Well, actually, we could just put texture path in there and then source rect as well. There. So that would actually just clone it. Yeah. Okay. Now we have that, and then down here we can say icon is empty. So that will initialize it to this empty thing we have. Okay. Actually, also when it's empty, we don't really want to deinitialize this thing. Maybe it should be nullable in that case. Maybe empty is not actually a valid state. I mean, it's either that or we make it nullable instead. Because now when we deinitialize, it's gonna crash here. So what can we do here? Let's see. I mean, it's the same with name here. So maybe it's better if they are nullable, or like maybe we're doing it wrong here. Like maybe we shouldn't initialize it first and then load. Or if we say that, okay, initialize will like not put it in a state where it can be initialized, but after loading it is actually able to be initialized. So it's probably fine then for it to be empty like this, and then so init will not put it in a state where it can be initialized. I think, yeah. So this should be fine, I think. So we will deinitialize this icon here as well. And we also need to clone the icon. Wait, Peter. Yes. Okay. Right, so we have ID name icon. Yeah, we need to set ID here as well. So I think it's just gonna be like that, right? Yeah. Okay. And what else? Right, so let's go back to do. Right, and size. So I guess the icon actually has the size in it. So we don't really need it to be a separate thing. Well, it has the source rectangle, which does have a size. Maybe this should just be like grid position, and then the grid size is like outside. Maybe we should actually have grid position and grid size here instead. Yeah, because that's gonna mesh better with the inputs as well. So we'll just do grid position, which is gonna be a vector, and then cell size, which is vector as well. So let's do that actually. And then this one will be yeah, just 0, 0, and cell size 0, 0. Okay, and here we have grid position and cell size. All right. Okay, and then down here we don't have source. So what we do, we need to make the source rectangle here. So we'll do rectangle init, and we have to. So the first one is gonna be x, which is gonna be grid position times serve. So the tile size, yeah, I think we have it maybe in the config. Tile size, no? Okay, so we basically just copy it everywhere. That's also something, yeah, it's not gonna be, it is very hard coded. Let's just reroute all of that. No, config, wait. We don't have config here. What? No, not that one. Here. Config. Oh wait, that's the other one. Right. So config is, no, it's this, yeah. It's gonna be config like this. And then tile size, config tile size. Oh, but we don't even use it here, so where did we have it? Well, we need it here, so tile size, and then where did I grab it from? Here? Yeah, here's tile size. So there. Okay. And here's also tile size. Okay, yeah. And then entity type. Right, so it's because we have these things. Let's just get rid of this. Show entity, get entities. Yeah, let's just delete all of this. Drag payload. Okay, none of this is gonna be used. There we go. And also we don't have anything called scenes, copy sensitive data. And this is not scene documents, and the type documents. There we go. Okay, let's go back to where were we? Okay, I want to find tile size equal to this, or vector. Yeah, okay, so that's the only place where we have that now. Okay, cool. Now let's go back here. So now we can grab tile size from a common place. And where were we here? Oh yeah, we also have, well, scale is not going to apply for the source rectangle. Okay, So we have grid position tile times the tile size. Wait, I'm stupid. We should not multiply by tile size. We should multiply this. Well, we need to do the other thing anyway. So, but we should multiply this by the cell size. Yeah. So it's going to be cell size. So grid position times the cell size. We could maybe make a convenient function for that. No. So let's do source position cell size. So that's that. So this would be source position 0. But we want to have it as a floating point vector. So let's do that. Float from int. Okay. And then rectangle width and height. What is that gonna be? That is gonna be, I mean, it's just gonna be cell size 0 and cell size 1, right? Although we need to float from int. Right. Okay. Right, so now we have the source rectangle there. Okay. Now we should have this draw function working properly. Okay, so what's the next step here? We have now, go back to our to-do here. We have the ID, the name, the icon, and the size. We're not going to do properties for now. So that's our like basic data structure for the custom or entity type. Now, I'm just gonna go through. Did we do properly here? We have deinitialize on icon, names freed. Icon deinitializes the texture path. That should be the only thing we're worried about. Yep. And if we go back here, for non-persistent data, I'm not really sure right now if we have anything there. So I'm just gonna leave that for now. And we'll go to our layouts. And we also, yeah, we need a layout for the whatever, yeah, entity type. So let's make entity type here. Okay, let's grab this one, for example. So we need draw. Yeah, let's just copy that over. And basically, let's do scene document. It's gonna be entity type document. Okay. Right, we need to also add the entity type document here. There. Okay. What else do we want to do? Import. Let's do that. Okay. So the layout, yeah, this is gonna be a layout entity type. We are gonna need to go to layouts, and we're gonna need to add that here, entity type. to add it here. Just a bunch of boilerplate here. Okay. It's like, yeah. So that should be enough there. Okay. Yeah. Now let's remove everything basically here. We could maybe keep the menu thing here though. Type menu. Active document label, sure. Save. Yeah. We're gonna have a set icon texture, so we could keep this. And yeah, then we have to implement that. Play, we don't have that. And here is where we have something that we don't need. Okay, this is the entities. Let's just get rid of all this. Okay, input. We don't really have. Anything here. Okay. Let's remove all this. Okay. So now we should just have this menu going on, and we also need to add what was it? The icon size input, and also icon select. So we have the size, and you choose the texture, and then you select cell from texture. So that will be your icon. We also need the name input, and I guess we can also have an ID display, which is basically gonna be this. This is gonna be, what's it called? Scene document. It's not gonna be scene document. I'm gonna have entity type document, and we're gonna say get name. Alright. So we have the name input. Well, okay, it's not, wait, no, not the name. I was thinking of something else. Well, this is gonna return the slice, I guess. Is that enough? I think so, maybe. Here we're gonna get the ID, so this is gonna be the ID, yes. Okay. Get ID. Right. And then I'm just gonna check something here. Do we have like a... So you could also implement a formatter here if you want. But for now, what you can do, if you have a JSON stringify on your struct that you want to display or make into a string in sort of like a format function, like this one. So what you could do is you can say standard JSON or format. Wait, is it JSON format? Yeah, JSON format. And then the value you can, and then you have stringify options. So that will call stringify for you. You will create like a formatter. If your thing is JSON has a JSON format or a stringify thing. You can basically format anything almost, but if you have a custom one, then you can do this to get the stringify working like that. Okay, so that's the ID. So let's also preface that there. Okay, so we have the ID display. Cool. Now I think I want to try running this. Also, we want to make sure we can actually add this. So I'm gonna go to document. We're gonna have document content somewhere here. So here we need to add entity type now. Entity type document. There. Okay. And then what? Basically, I think that's it. We also need to add to our maps. So somewhere we have like Tana, JSON. Yeah. So we need to add entity type here. It's gonna be entity type JSON without a dot. And here's the label entity type. Okay. Can we run this now, or is it gonna crash? Probably. It's not gonna compile. Probably. My LSP is not really working right now, so I have to look at it like this. Use of okay, config. We need vector. What's happening? Texture path. There's a syntax error or something. Entity type. Oh, we need a dot here. Layout. And this one is like, yeah, since we don't use these, we have to do this. Probably gonna be a bunch of these types of errors. Okay, entity type, persistent data, 37. Never mutated. Okay, let's just do return. Layout entity type 43. Unused capture. Fine. Jumps between the different files. every time. Okay, so what's going on here? Identify color. Right, the color is right. So what would the color? I mean, I guess for the color we can just set it to white for now. We're not gonna have a different color. I guess you could tint it if you want, like, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna worry about it. So let's just do white there, which will make it not have a tint, basically. Unused parameter in type 52. Document type. Right, this one was named entity type document. No, just entity type, I think. Or wait. Yeah, just entity type. So okay, let's just see. The syntax highlighting doesn't really work very well. Okay, here we go. So 365. So we have new types of documents here, or one new type, entity type. And we're gonna basically do the same thing here. This is the open node. Yeah, this is basically just opening the document. So it's gonna be the same as seen. Basically, only texture is a special case here because it's not a JSON file, so it's just a texture file. It's just an image file. Okay, do we have any more of those? Let's see. Back to persistent data, 95. What's the issue here? Expected 2 arguments. Oh, right. You always need to specify the type here. And 31, same thing. Generic. Oh, no persistent data. Right, okay. So we always need to like have these functions here. Basically, I'm just gonna copy that, and we don't really have anything in here. The initialize. Yeah, same thing here. We don't really do anything in here. And same thing for load. And this will be the persistent data. That's just going to be entity type. Import entity. Well, it's going to be persistent data. Okay. Oh yeah, dot entity type. So there is that. Wait. 13. What's going on? Oh, there we go. Yeah, and we need the import. It's a lot of time that you save by having the LSP, just jumping through different errors and fixing them and get the feedback straight away. So I should probably fix that as soon as possible, but not right now. Okay. Oh yeah, so this one should be entity type. There. Layout scene 160. Oh, I defined it in utils. I see. Well, did I? Why is it? Okay. It should be config. So. Also, let's make this everywhere else. Yeah. Well, there. Is that it? Looks like it. Okay. So we're in the editor now, and we should. Okay. So we don't have it here. We need to add it to this menu so that we can add a new thing. Where is that? Oh yeah, Assets Manager, that's right. Here, new asset. There we go. So we need to add a entity type here. And this thing. Yeah, I really need to make this into some sort of pattern here. Well, it is a pattern, but I want to make it maybe into more of a manageable thing. I mean, we do have the tags. The tag for it's basically following the tag, except for I guess directory dialog. But we do have like a time map scene animation, all the different types of documents. So you could maybe make it into a tag-based thing instead, but yeah, entity. There, and copy that. This new entity type. Here we can also we have the label for it, so we can sort of what's it called? Generalize this sort of string here, and maybe even this one, and yeah, so should be able to do that. Button create, yes, is new, wait, yeah, and then we have new asset. It's not going to be an animation, it's going to be a entity type. There we go. Okay, so now we should be able to make that, unless there's some other error. No. Entity type, and we get this little window here. So let's make my entity type, and then we should have it there. And let's double click. So now we are in the entity type editor, and we have our entity type here, and we can also, yeah, move the camera around, but we don't have anything drawn yet. We can save the file, which doesn't do anything right now because it's already created. But yeah, so now I want to have, yeah, we can set the textures. Yeah, so we get the ID here. Maybe this needs to be hoverable for showing the entire thing like this here. How do we do that actually? We have somewhere, oh yes, this one. See, now the LSP works. It's like super random. Some files, it just crashes when it tries to do stuff. I wonder if it's because of this. No, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so here we have this one, yeah, item hovered. You can make a hovered version for the whole thing here. Yeah, so you can just copy that, go back to here and go to the ID and just have the same thing basically in there. Yeah, now it should be hoverable. There we go. Okay, just so you can check the ID and see if it's correct, if something else is like set to that ID or something. Okay, but anyway, now we need to be able to set the icon texture. We want to have the input. Shall we start with the texture maybe? Oh, let's start with the size. I guess the size could be first. Actually, the name should be first. And then you set the size and then the icon texture and then. Okay, so let's just do name. Should be pretty straightforward. So let's go to like where do we have a name sort of input? Like in scene or like a string input. Here somewhere. Here we have one. What's the scaling? Oh yeah, the scaling. Okay, yeah. So it's just gonna be like this. We have name, and then the buffer is gonna be. Yeah, okay. So this is where we need to make the name a different type, because this won't play nice with the C interface here. So we need to make this a 0 sentinel string. However, I did make a convenience sort of thing for this, which is string Z, and we can import this. Wait, string Z. Where do I have this? Okay, there. And so then you have you basically specify the capacity. So let's just say 64 or something. So that's the maximum length that the string can have. And then that one has like a bunch of different convenience functions. Also, I want to add an empty I want to add an empty variation for this. So this is going to be self. So this can basically be an invalid. You cannot actually sort of deinitialize this, but it's going to be used here because this is also. And now we can do the same thing, and we can just say .empty instead. Okay. And now we should just say deinitialize like this instead. Okay. Yeah. And clone. I think. Do we have clone here? No. But oh yeah, actually no, this won't work. We have to actually initialize this, right? Or okay, now the name in the clone.name here is not actually initialized with like the idea here is that the buffer is supposed to be initialized once and put on the heap once and then reused with the capacity. But if we use this empty thing, we don't actually have an address for it. We can't actually use it. It's basically an unusable thing, just to make it work with sort of the machinery that I have, like the engine that I have here. And so when we have this one here, name is actually not sort of initialized properly, so we should probably instead do .init here. And then because init we can pass a allocator and the actual string that we want to copy, and so we can use .init and pass in the allocator and then self.name dot whatever it is .slice. Yeah, so that will copy or clone that thing properly here. Okay, and that I think should be it from this point of view. Now let's go back to, we need to go to entity type document and update here. So let's go to the layout, and this is gonna be entity type document, get name, and then get buffer, I think, because this will now return string edge 64. Yeah, and let's also make it mutable, because we need it to be, because we're gonna change it, be able to change it. And I think, yeah, now we need to do this. Okay, so now this is the buffer. We're getting like the pointer to the buffer, yeah, the underlying buffer that has the full storage. So that way ImGui here knows what the max length of this sort of string will be, so it won't crash when trying to write to it. Okay, let's try this now. Oh, we got a compiler error. 28. Oh yeah, we need to import this. Layout type 48. No field member named get buffer. So what was it called then? Just dot buffer. Yes. Okay. So we should. So that's the buffer. Yeah, that's a slice as well. So we can just pass it like this. Okay. Expected found. What? Oh. Okay, so you can't actually do this. Or can you? Well, I guess you can't since it's complaining. But so why? Right, so it does complain because it has to be sort of, I guess it has to be like allocated because it's not constant. Something like that. I don't know, man. So how would... I guess we just set it to undefined. It doesn't really matter because we're only using it in this one case. It's not really supposed to be used. Anyway. Okay, so here's the name. So let's just try and set it to something. So my entity type. And we'll save it. And let's quit and reload, and it doesn't save. Great. So did something happen or okay, let's look at the JSON. This will be my entity type. Oh, it's with spaces. So the name did not actually not save here. Okay. Why is that? Was it not changed? Wait, buff. Yeah, this is a different thing. I'm gonna go string z. Oops. And then we have it in animation as well. So let's go to layout animation and then look for this. Yeah, here we're also just saying equals buffer. I'm pretty sure that works. So let's open up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this works. Yeah. So that works. Where did that go here? Let's see if we can. Let's go in here and let's actually show some debug messages. Document save. Okay, so let's just print out the whole thing here. Content. And so we will use JSON format. And on, wait, I'm pretty sure it's just dot content, yeah. Content. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just gonna show that it's empty, but I just wanna see what it says. Oh, I didn't actually show you here, but I added some logs here. What's going on? Expected 2 arguments. Oh yeah. You need to have stringify options here as well. Okay, so let's do this and then save and then saving document. Content, yeah, name is empty. So why is it empty is the question. So I'm just gonna say if self, well, I'm just gonna say self content and I'm gonna say whatever it is, entity type. And then we have document, persistent data, and then we have name, and we have slice. Yep. Name. Actually, maybe we should just say no. We should oops. Should just do this. So this is the slice, and then I want to view the buffer as well. There. Whoops. Wrong program. Saving document. Okay, so slice is empty, buffer is, I mean, it looks like it doesn't actually have a 0 in it. That's weird. So I'm gonna look at the animation layout, because what's the difference here? Here we are also saying the buffer here, right? Animation name. Here we're using slice. Well, I guess that's for when showing in the list. Or what is this? That's one animation. Do we have custom JSON parts for this? Yes, we do, but we just write it like this. Shouldn't this be... This should just be the same thing. Is this really needed? It feels like we're doing the same thing as it would be doing anyways, I think. Or is it because... No. Yes, it should do the same thing, I think. But right, why? Oh, it's using set here, right? And then when we stringify, are we using the slice? Yes. Okay, that explains it. So we go to entity type, persist data. We go to where we set the name, and instead of doing .init, we do .set. Well, we do this. Right, set takes, oh, it just takes a new slice. Okay, we don't even need the allocator there. Okay, that should be it, hopefully. Oh, we get a crash. What has happened? No space left. What? Okay, let's look at the document again. The name is empty, so interesting. Is this like a special case where it's empty, it doesn't work? Like let's test this. Let's put something in here and then run. No, see, it crashes. So maybe it's something else. Yeah, no space left. Okay. What? It's not doing something with our things. Oh yeah, buffer is not initialized. That's the... Okay. That is true. But then when we do init, we should set it as well. When we do init here, why? Yeah, slice should be set to buffer. So it should have been set. Like this should actually do the same thing as we're trying to do. Right? We need to allocate. We're doing this, which basically is set. Buffer. Yeah, it's the same thing. So why would that not work? We get A here, and then we save, but it still says A. What? Is it because we're using slice? Like when we read the name, what's happening then? Let's see. When we... Actually, let's go to animation here. How does this do it? Like the clone itself, it also uses name.slice, so that should work. Right? Yeah, it does work for clone. Yes, it does work for clone. Okay, this is not the place where I need to look, right? I need to look at the stringify. But we are using slice, so that should also work. Because slice is just a mirror of buffer, except buffer has like a different length. Oh, it's because slice has like a different length, maybe. Is that the issue? But how could animation work then? Does it only work for... No. Let's try this again. Let's open up an animation and just do this. Yeah, this crashes. Wait, access unifield entity type while... Oh. Okay, it's because I had this thing going on. Right, let's just delete this. And let's go back here. Let's add a bunch of things there. Save, go back. Yeah, this doesn't work. Okay, so it doesn't work. I was mistaken. Okay. And I think I know why, because it certainly has something to do with, well, most certainly I would say, something to do with the slice. I mean, okay, the way ImGUI works with inputs is that you pass in a buffer. Now let's find where we have that. So for animation, for example, we have an input text and a label, and then you have to specify what buffer that it's gonna change. So for this one, it's gonna be animation.name.buffer. So that's good. Then the buffer will change. However, the name also, the name is this struct like this. So it has a buffer and a slice. Now, I'm not sure if this is a really good way of doing it. It's probably better if we just say that this, maybe even removing this is better. Yeah, we should probably just remove slice, and then we have a function that produces a slice based on the buffer instead. We should probably do that, because the idea is that the slice will point to the same address as the buffer, but the length of slice will be adjusted to the length of the actual content. So I think we'll just remove this, and what we'll do is we don't need this, and then set, we'll just do that, and here. So what we'll do is we'll make a function slice, which will give us, I guess, this thing. And so this will be that. And then we return, because standard has a thing called, where is it? Is it in format, memory, slice 2, yeah. So we'll do buffer, that's the, where's that signature? Yeah, the pointer, and you so slice 2, you get a pointer, and then an end, which is the 0. And you get a slice out of that, which is the slice with the correct sort of you will get the slice with the correct length here, the length of the content. The buffer has longer content because that's what the maximum length is, but then you want to have a slice that just has the actual content of the string. So that's what we want to use slice for, because when the standard JSON formatting library stringifies a string that has zero terminated string, then it will actually include all the garbage that is after the 0 as well. So it won't actually terminate it. So that's why I'm doing this, so that we have a convenience way of having the JSON formatter work with 0 terminated strings nicely. And it also combines with being able to work with the InGUI library as well. Okay, but anyway, so now we have that, and if we go to the layout now, we still use this the same way, but this here we can actually, well, we can actually pass buffer here because it's going to be the same thing. Yeah, and yeah. I think that's the only places where we actually use this. It's in this animation name. Now, yeah, so here, instead of doing self.slice, we have to do self.slice like this. Okay, that's the only thing there. So let's go back to entity type. Wait. Oh yeah, so document animation. So here we have slice. I think we can just do buffer here actually. We don't really need. Yeah, because buff print z will probably work with that. Yeah. So we don't have anything called slice. We have a bunch of stuff called slice, but for entity type, we don't have anything called slice. Entity type persistent data. Here we have slice. We can actually just use buffer here as well. Yeah. Okay, let's try it. Whoops. Okay. Something went wrong. No space left. From animation, okay. Right, animation. Is it the same issue? Here we're actually initializing the buffer here. How can it be no space left? So it's when we're using set from clone. So we're initializing here. So name should be initialized and have the buffer should have the capacity here. Right? Okay. And then it goes here. And we're setting it to name.buffer. Does it actually not work? Do you have to use like a slice 2 here? Okay, well let's try it, I guess. Yeah, see, it seems wrong. It seems like it should take the zero terminated into account. Like you don't have to do a slice 2. Okay, let's try. Now it works. And we can modify it as well. Okay, cool. Alright. So it didn't actually work the first time. Okay. Let's go in here and let's... Why did it crash now? No space left. Oh, okay, so maybe it's the same issue. But now we're using init. Right. So, yeah. Let's just do this. Okay. Right. Instead of doing this, we're gonna say set initial slice return self. Right, that should work. Unexpected. Okay. Well, I guess we can do this. Can you do this? I'm not sure how this works. Maybe it does work. Yeah, it seems to work. Hello, welcome. What do you see? Okay, let's try this again. Okay. And let's go here now. Okay, there we go. Right, so let's say my entity type. Save, exit, enter. Okay, there we go. Oh, it works. Great. I beat the strings. Great. Yeah. All right, so that's done now. Oops. Let's go back to entity type. By the way, how do you say your name? Also, welcome. I'm not sure if I said it. Where was I going? Yeah, the layout. That's right. So we have the name input. Let's add the icon size input now. So we should have that at the animation layout as well. So we're gonna have some sort of input. Yeah, here we go. Let's just copy that. And this will be, let's rename this cell size because that's more accurate. Oh, Frank. Welcome. How's it going? What did you see? I missed it. Cell size, and then this is going to be entity type document. Get cell size. And yeah, let's go and add that. So this is going to be a mutable vector. Oops. Actually, it's going to be icon cell size. Okay, that's the cell size. We're also going to need the position. And yeah, the texture file name, file path. The first time see Zig ext, do you mean extension or what do you mean? I didn't know about this language. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's real. It's not that popular yet. I hope it's gonna be popular though. It's really fun, I think. What programming language are you usually, or Or are you coding, or? Let's see, file path. This should be right. Like that. Okay. Texture path. Okay. And let's go back to layout. Okay, so we got cell size. And we want to set icon texture. So let's just see if the cell size works. Take like baby steps here. Okay, so what's going on here? 33. Oh, we don't look it there. There we go. Okay, there's the cell size. Now let's set it to like, I don't know, 16 by 16. Save. And we just make sure that it works. Yes. So that is now in there. Now let's go back here. So now I want to set this one. We should get a texture path back here. And then mainstream languages, wrap my head around with Go and Rust. Personal project C++ on Rail. Okay, cool. Are you doing any games on Go and Rust? Or is it like web development or something? Which I'm normally, my job is web development. But okay, open file with dialog. Yes, so we have the texture path here. So we can now use the path that we get. And here, or wait, we get a document. Oh, we're opening the file. Oh, right, so we're getting the texture document here, which has the path in it. So we can just say, enter type document, and then set texture path to file path. Okay, and there we go. Now we need it to be 0 terminated because I saw that it was in the other thing. So wait, where was the thing? Wait, no, it's gonna be. Wait, what else? Okay, yeah. Enter type document. Wait. Yes, document. Here we go. Okay. Right. So we provide this file path. Right. So now we need this set texture path function. So set. We need texture path. And don't return anything. Okay. So I don't think we have any like helper function or anything for that. We should probably have a set function on the icon itself because yeah, it's allocated here. So we actually need to have set texture path. So first we say, oops, oh yeah, and we need the allocator. So first we say allocator free, and then we just, no, we do, yeah, we duplicate it. Now we need to use dup z, and we need to specify U8 here as well. So let's check for any dupes here, because yeah, they are normal. You have to change to Z version when you're dealing with Zero Sentinel. I work for a game company that provided basically network services for other game companies. Kotlin, okay. What I learned there, I want to apply in other languages like R. Ah, okay. Cool. Network service. Yeah. I haven't dabbled in that myself, but it seems maybe complicated. Wait, so where was I? Right, so what we want to do here now is we want to say set texture path to that. Okay. Oh yeah, we need to catch unreachable here. Okay. So now we have that. Let's go to layout, and we also add this as a let's add a display for the icon texture for the file texture file path. This will be, it's not going to be format. So it's going to be, no, where is it? Oh, here, get texture file path. Yeah, get texture file path. Okay, and then we do the same thing here. Okay, so now we should see it. We need to fix an error. Set texture path. Oh, texture file path. Do we need to? Yeah, we need to pass in the allocator as well. So yeah. We need to have the allocator. Yes. Okay. More stuff to fix. Use of undeclared. Oh, wait. Yeah, we have it in context. There we go. And oh, interesting. So it's like, what? Okay, maybe this is like when it's empty, it shows this. I guess. Maybe. Okay, but let's set here to something. I'm just gonna choose something here. Oh, it did not update. Interesting. So let's go. Oh, wait. Do I have to dereference this? Because this returns a pointer, I think. No, it doesn't. Wait, yes it does. So we actually don't need this to be a pointer now, because we're not setting it like that. We are setting it like this. So this can also be non-mutable as well. And we don't dereference it here. Okay, I didn't actually know that you could format as a string, and you format a pointer, you would get like a description of it like that. But that's good to know. Okay, let's try setting this again. There we go. Now you can see, you didn't see the pop-up there because, or the file dialog, because I'm not capturing that, but basically using the native file dialog system to choose a file, and it will show the file name there now. So that works. And okay, so next step, what I want to do is I want to show, well, actually, yeah, maybe I want to show the texture. And well, let's start with that, because I think I want to show the texture, and then you'll be able to select which icon is, like which cell is gonna be the icon. And we do have the same kind of thing in the animation editor, so let's go there. We have, if you go to draw, yeah, so here we're basically getting the texture, and we're drawing that just the texture like at the center. Right, that's the whole draw function. So let's just copy this, go to draw, oops, and we'll do that. And here we do have a file path, but it's not, I guess it's not set to a correct file path. Maybe that should also be nullable, since we can be in a state where the texture file path is like not yet set. Just like for the animations. So let's actually do that. Let's go and change that to be nullable, I guess. So this is nullable. We can set this to null now. And yes. So here now we can just say if this is set, then we can free it. And then clone. Well, this doesn't work. I guess this is nullable then. And if it's null, we don't need to duplicate it. Okay. Yeah. Set. So here is like we should, I mean, yeah, it's the same thing. If texture will free it. Okay. So here we also need to wrap this in if we have this. Well, actually, let's do texture path is equal to self.texture path, or else return. If we don't have it, we just return. And we can do that. Yes. Okay. Document. Right, so now this one is actually nullable then. Right? And set should not change. Okay, so we'll go back here. Right. So now we can use this pattern. So if this is not null, we get it here, and then we request the texture, we get the texture, actual texture there, and we can draw it. And yeah, it should be the exact same thing happening here. We need to bring context in. There we go. So now we should actually see the, of course we got some compiler errors somewhere. Oh, cannot. All right, so texture file path, texture. Okay. Set. Right, so this one is not nullable, so that's fine. Here we can have nullables. So I think what you can do is just do this. And it will work. So it will. I think it should show null if it is null, and then if it's not null, it will show the content. Could not get document type from file path. Empty. Wait. Document type. Right. Oh, right. Because it's actually set to something. Well, it's set to an empty string, so I have to change this to null now. There we go. Okay, so now it's null, right? Well, maybe we shouldn't show null here, but and there we go. Now it's set and we see it here. Okay. So yeah, okay, cool. So now I want to also be able to select one of the tiles, or I mean sprites, with the cell size here. So we also have this in animation somewhere. So this would be, I think, handle input, and it should be somewhere here. Yeah, it should be this one. So let's actually just copy all this and go here. See what we need to get here. Utils we have. Do we need editor? Not sure. We probably need the document. Yeah. document so we can get the file path. And we get the texture. So here you can see a more flat structure where you say, do we have the file path or else we return? Do we have the texture or else we return? So you can do that as well, and you can have like an if as well. So it's like, well, an if with a capture, or do this pattern here. So if it's null, you can just return. So yeah, it's a nice way to keep the structure flat. So I would rather have it flat than have a bunch of ifs everywhere. So yeah, so anyway, texture size, that should not be different. Texture grid size, animation grid size. So this is actually cell size. Again, bad naming here before. So let's see if actually LSP actually works in this instance. Always weird stuff happening. This should be icon.cell size. Wait. It's actually get cell size, I think. Yeah. And this one is get cell size. I think it's mutable, so let's. Well, now that'll be all of a sudden it stopped working. Or am I? No, this is entity type document. So what? Why am I not getting this completion? Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna do this and then dereference that. Okay, that should be the cell size. That should be like the. Wait. No, this is the actual grid size. Yeah. This is the grid size. It's like how many cells are in the texture. There we go. And then we're calculating if we're in bounds. That should be the same thing. If we are, then we highlight a cell and we need the cell size, which we have here, get cell size, dereference that, and then we have the grid size there as well. Okay, and then if we clicked, we want to do something. So we're not going to do any of these things. Wait, so what would the position be here? Oh, we have the grid position here already. Oh yeah, and this also needs to change. Get cell size. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and dereference. Okay, so we have the grid position. So that means that we can just set the grid position directly. So set grid position to grid position. We don't need to do anything else. Now we need to add that function. I mean, I guess this is immutable, so we could just set it directly. But let's just add a convenience, I guess, for it anyway. Yeah, and it's just going to be a matter of setting it like this, since it's a vector. Okay. Now let's fix the compilation error. 43. What's going on? Invalid. What? It's a vector. Wait, what does it say here? Invalid left hand side to assignment. Oh, return. Right, we shouldn't return. Okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't save, I don't think. There we go. Now you can see we can select a thing. Okay, but we don't show it, so I'm gonna add that as well to the inputs here. So we're gonna have the grid position. It's just gonna be a label, I think. Yeah, cell size and cell, I guess we can call it, maybe. So it's gonna be a number with no decimals and another one, and x is, well, I guess you could put you could actually do this and just put the vector in, I think. So this would be entity type document dot get grid position, dereference that. Actually, yeah, dereference that. I'm not sure if you need to dereference it. Whoops. Well, I'm pretty sure it's gonna complain now. It doesn't? Oh, but it shows it like this. Okay. So you have to dereference. I guess it's nice that you can see the pointer as well. So it's like a weird format though. So, well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you think is weird. Get grid position. Okay. Grid position X. Oops. And Y. There we go. 0, 0. We set the texture to be something there. And there you can see the cell is updated as well. Let's try and save this. Exit, reload, and there we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to show the icon, sort of the resulting icon, maybe in a sort of little image here. So to do that, we have to go and look how we're doing it in the scene editor. So let's go to the scene editor, because we have a bunch of places here in the menu function. So we have somewhere here we have all the entities. This is selected entities. That's not correct. Wait, where do we have? Was this shown before? Here's the list of entities. So here we have all the entities, and we're getting texture, source rectangle, size, scale size, and then we're using this function here, which is like a Raylib IMGUI integration, and it's used to draw with Raylib textures in IMGUI. So let's copy this here. I'm gonna go to entity type, and let's just put this here. Okay, so we need the texture. So we're gonna do this thing again. We're gonna have an if, and then actually what you could do is you could just say draw icon menu. Okay, because then we can put this in as we can have a flat structure here instead. So let's move this down here. We need the context because we need to have the texture from that. So here we're gonna have texture file path. There we go. And then the texture we request from the context. Okay. Now the source rectangle, we actually... Wait. Oh yeah, I did all this already, but we're not using this function to draw the thing. We're using another function. So I'm gonna go to persistent data. So the icon, I actually built this draw function in here. But what we probably should do is move this part out so we get all the positioning and stuff. So we can use that here. Okay, now we just remove all that. Okay. Now the position, I guess we don't really have a position. So the destination would just be, well, do we even have a destination? Like how does this, yeah, we just have a destination width and height, so we don't really need a rectangle for that, which is just gonna be source width dot scale. Yeah. Source width dot scale, and this is float. Yeah. Oops. And then source height. Okay. So we don't need this. We have the source rectangle. So the source. So how does it know the source rectangle? Oh, it's the last parameter. Okay, yeah. The source vector is okay. Yeah. Okay. Is that it? Of course not. Layout and 76. Get texture file path, type. Oh yeah, so we need entity type document. So oh yeah, we need to pass this and that. And undeclared. Oh, so right. So it's gonna be entity type document dot get grid position times get cell size. Now I know that one of those are not the thing. Undeclared self again. Oh. Well, let's just get the cell size here. so we can say that instead. Any other self here? No. Age and origin unused. Well, let's just remove it then. Incompatible types. Okay. So it wants to have I32s. Okay. Right. Okay, so let's do scale size, just like we had. So this would be a vector, and then we do int from float, and we say yes. I mean, this is just going to be cell. Actually, this is just going to be cell size times scale. Wait, what scale is? No, scale is I32. Okay, but it is a scalar, so we need to. I mean, let's just do this. Wait, actually, we have scale v. There we go. For convenience. And then this one would be scale size 0 and scale size 1. Scale is not used. Let's remove that. Now it seems to work. Okay, and there you go. There you can see the little thing there. So now we can choose what part of the thing is going to be our icon. And of course, if you want to change the dimensions here, we can do that. 32 by 32, which I believe should be this one. You can see. Okay, so there you can set that. We save, we exit, we enter, and I'm just going to try. Yeah, so there you go. That's the icon. Okay, so now you can make an entity type that has a specific icon. Great, and a name as well. Maybe we should have a key as well. Maybe the name is for display purposes and have a, or we should just have this be sort of the key. So it would be like this. And then you would use that like in the game engine to know which entity type you're looking at, basically. Yeah. Okay. And then, for example, you can choose here the player. There you go. Now we have a player entity. And then we want to create another entity, which is the monster here. Oh, we're crashing. Okay, so we got some error here. It's probably, yeah, it's something with the strings. It's always the strings, almost always. Wait, JSON stringify. Serialize. Okay, hang on. It's when we create a new document. Let's go new asset. I think we have. It's gonna call something somewhere. Yeah, we're initializing and then yeah, this is gonna crash when okay, because when we're initializing the document, it's actually not in a state where you can deinitialize it without getting errors. If we have like a undefined string somewhere, maybe I have to put every string as like a nullable or something. Yeah, and then we put new content and we load it. What does this? I forgot what this does. So this one just initializes the content. Okay, so this one is the actual initializing thing. What does this do then? Document. It just, oh, it does the file path. Okay. Oh yeah, because the content itself is null, so that works. Okay, so we're in a different stage from what I was thinking, but yeah, okay. Where were we? Here? No? Right. So we're initializing a document. Right, so this won't crash. Okay, but we're making a new content. So in this stage, after this, it can crash with like this. The initialize will crash if it tries to deinitialize. If something goes wrong here and it's not fully initialized, it will crash here. Yeah, because we have the content now, and then we do load. So this one is just to initialize the content into sort of a semi-initialized state, and then we do load to actually initialize it fully. But something goes wrong in load, I think. I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, is the slice 2? The slice 2 is this one goes wrong. So when are we? When we stringify, okay, so I think the problem is that we actually need to have some sort of name set. Either this has to be nullable or we set the name to some default value. Yeah. So new entity type, I guess. But we have the name here, so I guess this is not the name, this is like the file name. Well, it should be set to the same thing, basically. Okay, anyway, let's try this again. Oh wait, oh yeah, it only creates it. I was I was kind of expecting it to open it as well. Maybe we should, I don't know. No, maybe not. Okay, so we open it, but it crashed now, but we're able to create it at least. Okay, layout utils. Oh, 1 second, there's someone at the door. 1 second. All right, I'm back. I have to actually go now. So let's see. Let's just see if I can fix this real quick here. Just because I wanna like finish it. Okay. 87. Wait, what's happening? Oh yeah. So layout duty. So what is this? I don't remember. Grip position. Okay, so something is weird. Oh, okay. So layout. Yeah, this is gonna be layout entity type. Now, what is actually happening here? We don't have a texture, so it shouldn't do anything there. So where's the issue? Is it? Wait, what? Why is this happening? 93. Handle input. Oh. Right. So I think we only want to do this. Like, why are we getting the grid position first? We should probably move it down here. Also, the cell size is is your part of floating point value out of bounds? Okay, I'm guessing because it's set to 0. I'm guessing that's the issue here. I'm not sure how we get this error, but yeah, probably because we're dividing it by 0 here. So we also have to check. Let's get the cell size first, and then if cell size is equal to 0, and I think we have to do a reduce here. Reduce. If it's 0, then we also return, because yeah, it's gonna fail. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, so we have the wait, where? Yeah, this one. There we go. Let's set the texture there, and the cell size is now set here. So we can choose whatever thing we want. Okay. And we save that. And now we have our Kleat monster here. Great. Okay. So that's gonna be it for this time. What I want to do next is basically to be able to choose between these entities in the scene editor. So instead of having the hard-coded entities, you would get the list of entities that is like found in the assets manager, and then you can use those entities to maybe even drag them in from here. Maybe I should also show the icon here. That would be a good addition, but then you have to request the texture and everything for that. Well, okay, I'm not sure, but yep, that's gonna be it for this time. So thank you very much for tuning in and joining me, and